Okay guys, welcome back to another video. Don't just look at these top cards and say, oh shit, another trickster deck profile. This does have tricksters in it, but it's nothing that you would think of. I'll get straight into it and hopefully you like it. Okay, so for the main deck, we're just running a trickster engine. So it's 2 Candina, 2 Lycoris, 3 Reincarnation, 3 Light Stage. So basically, you want to either see the Candina or the Light Stage. Basically, you just want to see the Candina so you can search out your Reincarnation. If you've already got a Reincarnation, you go for your Lycoris. I'll sort of explain what all the cards do. Candina searches for any trickster card. Also, if your opponent activates a spell or trap card, immediately after resolution, you burn for 200 damage. Lycoris, anytime a card's added to your opponent's hand, so either during the draw phase or when they search, it inflicts 200 points of damage to their life points. Also, if you control Candina or another trickster monster on the field, you can target it with Lycoris, bounce that monster back from the field to your hand, and special summon Lycoris. Reincarnation, you banish your opponent's entire hand, and they draw the same amount of cards that they had in their hand. The combo is basically Reincarnation and Lycoris to do the extra damage. Light Stage searches for any trickster monster, so you find your Candina or your Lycoris. Also, if a trickster monster does damage, either by effect or by battle, inflict an extra 200 points of damage. It does have another effect, which is you target one set card your opponent controls in their spell and trap card zone, and they either activate it then or activate during the end phase. If they can't activate it at all, it's sent to the graveyard. So that's the effect that we'll basically use in this deck, is the targeting a face down spell or trap card. Basically, just to finish up the trickster lineups, just 2 terraformings so I can see the engine. Pretty self-explanatory. Next cards on the list, 2 Eater of Millions. You banish up to 5. You banish 5 or more cards from either your extra deck, your side of the field, or your hand to special summon him. He gains 100 attack for every face down banished card, and when he does declares an attack at the start of damage step, you can banish their monster face down, so it just gets rid of problematic cards. 2 Necroface. This is an old card. A lot of old Yu-Gi-Oh players should know it. When it's banished face up, you can banish the top 5 cards of both players' deck, and when it's normal summon to the field, you shuffle all banished monsters back, or all banished cards back into the deck, and he gains 100 attack for each card. So that's yours and your opponent's banished cards. He gains 100 attack for. Battle Traps, Swift Scarecrow, because he's awesome. Pity he's not a super, but I'm working on that one. 2 Battle Fader. Same thing as Swift Scarecrow. Swift Scarecrow, you drop to the graveyard when your opponent declares an attack, negates the attack, ends their battle phase. Battle Fade is sort of the same idea. You special summon him to your side of the field though, and when he leaves the field he gets banished. So this is the part where it doesn't turn into a normal trickster deck. 3 Gren Maju Diazer. For every banished card you have, he gains 400 attack points and defense points, so he becomes a really big beat stick when you use him with Desires. So, you know, you want to sort of see this. He gets rid of things, and he is a win condition in this deck. Desires, banish 10 cards, draw 2. This can get ashed, but if you've got Gren Maju in hand already, you don't really care. You just want the attack bonus for Gren, so it's okay. Next up, 3 Gold Sark. I'm loving these Duelist League ones. Basically, you banish Gren, Necroface, banish top 5 cards of either player's deck, or both players' deck, and basically just pump up Gren as quick as possible and thin your deck out so you can see them. For the next draw power card, Shared Ride. It's not great if you're going first, well, going second actually, because your opponent usually does all their searches in the first turn. But if you set up the field, you just set this, sort of baits out their Twin Twisters and Cosmic Cyclones. So you just activate it as soon as they start searching for stuff. You draw 1 card. So every time your opponent adds a card from deck to hand, you get to draw 1 card. Next card, Twin Twisters, because we don't want to run into any back row. Basically just want to get rid of them mirror forces, so we don't want to see it. Next card off the list is Scapegoat. Usually activate this during your opponent's end phase, so you can make a free Borrelo, Firewall, Topological Dragon, and just, you make what you need out of it at the time. So it's just a free extra 4 monsters, well, 4 tokens to make links. Last up for the singles, we won 1 Drowning Mirror Force, 1 actual normal Mirror Force. I do run Quaking and Storming in the side deck, but they're sort of circumstantial depending on the deck you're versing at the time. These two just seem like the best all-round Mirror Forces in this format, because Link monsters, you can't Quaking Mirror Force them, you can't Floodgate, so you basically just want to get them off the field as quick as possible. The last 2 singles is 1 Dark Hole, 1 Raigeki. Self-explanatory, just board wipes. And that should round up the main deck at 40. Onto the extra deck. Obviously we have our 4 sexy tokens. That's for our Scapegoat. For our Link 1s, 3 Link Spider. Just a piece to get into a Borrelo Dragon. So first of all, you'll make the Mrs. Radiant, then 2 Link Spiders with your Scapegoats, and that'll be your Borrelo. So yeah, we run Mrs. Radiant at 1. 1 Trickstar Holy Angel. Probably never make it, but there is a possibility that you can. So might as well just run her at 1. If anything, it's an extra piece to banish off Eater of Millions. 2 Proxy Dragon. You can make him with tokens, so it's just a little bit easier. 2 Ib. Basically use her with the Otherworld Chalice Link 3 monster to get extra draws, and also she can't be destroyed while she's linked with something, so it's in a sense a pseudo draw, I want to say. So that rounds up the Link 2 monsters. Now for the Link 3s, 1 Gaia Saber, doesn't really, it is just an extra Link monster. 1 Nigrisu. Basically if you make him with Ib pointing towards it, you get a free draw 1 card, and also he can send cards your opponent controls to the graveyard, which gets past certain problematic monsters and back row. 1 Decode Talker, because he is an MVP, he just becomes an incredible beat stick really quickly. For the last 3 cards, they're all our Link 4s, so Topological Bomber. I love this card with the Trickster engine. You basically make your Topological off your Scapegoats after you've sort of set up a field and they've got rid of your Candina or whatever you did have on board, like your Lycurus. Use your Scapegoats, make Topological. You banish your Reincarnation from grave. Special summon like your Lycurus back to behind Topological to destroy all monsters in the main monster zones, which just clears your opponent's board. Next one's Firewall. I don't run Lilybell, so the Trickstar Lilybell combo, the OTK, I won't ever be able to do it, but Firewall's just another monster there, because why not? Last of all, the one Borreload Dragon. This thing just wins games. There's no point not to run him. He's absolutely amazing. I'm not really going to go through all their effects that much. It's just, he is absolutely amazing. For the side deck, it doesn't really matter what you run. I never really sided anything in besides the X-0-1 Eater of Millions, because I just wanted him in the deck for fun. But yeah, here goes the rest of it. The extra Battle Fader, it's not an ulti, so I'm not going to run it in the main deck. I'm just going to leave it in the side, so I remember to pick up another one when I can. 2 Ghost Ogre, self-explanatory. Your opponent decides he wants to go first. You side him in, you can sort of semi-disrupt their plays. As I said, the other 2 Mirror Forces, Quaking and Storming. It's all circumstantial to what you're versing. If you're versing a really link-heavy monster deck, you probably put in the Storming Mirror Force. So, it all depends. 2 Floodgate, just for the Pendulum matchup. If they decide to Pendulum summon into their extra monster zone, you Floodgate it, they're basically out of the game because they can't do anything. As I said, I never really sided any of this stuff in. Dimensional Barrier at 2, never sided in, but if there's a rogue Paleo player, probably be helpful. The Solemn Brigade, 3 strikes, 1 warning, really self-explanatory as well. And the extra Twin Twister just to get rid of back row. So that's the complete deck. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's really, really strong. It's great to play. I have a lot of fun doing it. And Gren, Maju, Deiser for the next MVP card.